वांग में मनसि प्रतिष्ठिता मनो में वाची प्रतिष्ठितम् आविराविर्मयेधि वेदस्य आणीस्थः श्रुतं मे मा प्रहासि अनेनाधीतेनाहोरात्रान् सन्दधामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारमवतु वक्तारम्। ओम शांति 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 हरि ओम। Om, may my speech be accorded with the mind. May my mind be accorded with the speech. O self-effulgent one Brahman, reveal thyself to me. May you both speech and mind be the carriers of the highest truth to me. May not all that I have heard depart from me. May I be able to join day and night through this study. I shall utter what is verbally true. I shall utter what is mentally true. May that Brahman protect me. May that Brahman protect the teacher. May that protect me. May that protect the teacher. Om, peace, peace. Peace be unto you all. Good morning. Only last Sunday we observed the ritualistic Durga Puja here. This morning I am going to speak to you the socio-religious aspect of Durga Puja. Durga Puja is considered one of the main worship of India, and all these sects and religious schools of India, except Buddhism. Durga Puja is considered as parallel to Ashwamedha Yajna. You know, Ashwamedha Yajna is the fire sacrifice, a special type of fire sacrifice. Generally, the kings, they used to perform. That is, one horse was released, and that horse would travel in different countries. And if the horse could return to the same country, then the king who is performing the Ashwamedha Yajna, he would be the king of all those countries through which that horse traveled. So it was meant that the kings of other countries bow down, accepted the performer of Ashwamedha Yajna as the king of their country also. So it is a huge rituals. The Durga Puja was considered as equal to Ashwamedha Yajna. So Ashwamedha Yajna, Ashwa means horse, and Yajna is the sacrifice. So Ashwamedha Yajna, it is called. And ultimately the horse was sacrificed to the fire. So that is why it is called Ashwamedha Yajna. So the Ashwamedha Yajna, the right to perform the Ashwamedha Yajna was only with the Kshatriya, the warriors. In India, we know that there are 4 sects. They are Brahmana, the highest, those who are knowledgeable, and they are the highest strata of the caste system. And then there was Vaishya. Vaishya means the businessman, those who used to do the business. And then Kshatriya, those who are warrior. And ultimately the Shudra is a lower caste. So the caste system was very strong in India at that point of time. So the Ashwamedha Yajna, only the Kshatriya had the right to perform the Ashwamedha Yajna. But if Vaishya or Shudra, if they wanted to perform the Ashwamedha Yajna, because they became very powerful, if the low caste became very powerful and they wanted to perform Ashwamedha Yajna to get the control over many countries, then what they would do? So such thing happened actually. And the Pandits, the knowledgeable people, they searched. They said that no, you don't have any right to perform Ashwamedha Yajna because you are the lower caste, you are not the Kshatriya. So then they gave the injunction that you would perform Durga Puja, the worship of Mother Durga, and that is equivalent to Ashwamedha Yajna. So Durga Puja is considered as equivalent to Ashwamedha Yajna. So let us see what is the social aspect, and this is the central puja, and significance of this worship is amazing. So let us see how this Durga Puja has impacted in the social aspect. At the time of Acharya Shankara appeared in India's religious horizon, the Vedic rituals was at its zenith. So we know Shankaracharya was Advaitin, and he discarded all image worship. He was Advaitin and he rejected the image worship. He was not in favor of worship and bhakti, devotion, etc., etc. He was Advaitin, oneness of existence, he believed. But when he came, actually, some part of the country was witnessing some obnoxious tantric rites, because we know that Buddhism, at the end, after the passing away of Buddha, so Buddhism was intermingled with Tantra, and so many tantric rituals and tantric god and goddesses entered into Buddhism, especially the Tibetan Buddhism. So we find there some kind of peculiar tantric system pervaded in the Indian horizon. So in this situation, Shankaracharya, highly intellectual, not only on philosophy, but also in social aspect also. We can find that he organized the whole monastic community of India. He had a lot of contribution in the philosophical, religious, social, and the monastic life of India. So, he is an outstanding genius. So, what he thought, it is something peculiar, but he thought, Shankara hit upon a plan, he applied to the people of his time as well as the posterity to widen the scope of religion. And how he did that, the scope of religion, and it can meet the demands of both head and heart. So, dry philosophy is only met the requirements of head, intellectual requirement. But what about the heart, emotion, bhakti? So he saw that and he could understand. So he tried to widen the scope and demand of the time. So in a word, religion must be practical. He tried to bring down the religion as a practical religion. The most of the part actually implemented by Swami Vivekananda, because Swami Vivekananda implemented this part greatly. He made the abstract Advaita religion practical. That was his contribution. But Shankara also wanted to implement the dry philosophy of Advaita into practical manner. And what he did actually for this, in all one's activities, including religious rite and observance, and this gives actual accountability to the image worship, particularly mode of present Durga came in vogue, is still in vogue in that way. So it is considered that the image worship, actually we have a strong notion that Shankaracharya is completely against image worship. And he was out and out Advaitin. But it was not true always. As we cannot segregate Sri Ramakrishna as a devotee, as a Advaitin, or as a Vishishtadvaita. So similarly, Shankaracharya, we cannot categorize Shankaracharya. Definitely his contribution to the Advaita Vedanta is great, but we cannot, put a sticker on Shankaracharya that he is out and out Advaitin, and he did not have any kind of work on bhakti or Dvaita. He wrote number of hymns on God and goddesses, which is completely the concept of Dvaita. So there is no harm, and it is the historical fact that Shankaracharya actually from his concept, slowly the image worship started, and it actually converted as Durga Puja. I can give you other examples also. How the Vedic sacrifice became the temple worship, and it became the image worship in the post-Vedic period. So, the post-Vedic period, we find that the fire sacrifice slowly became the temple worship. So fire altar became the temple. Let me consider in this way. So the first condition of worship is deification or purification of the worshipper. The worshipper must be purified. This is the first ritual of worship. When a worshipper sits for worship, what he does? First part is the purification part. The worshipper purifies all the articles of puja, everything, the surroundings of the puja, and himself also purified. Even the mantra, the worshipper purifies the mantra also. So everything should be purified. So that is the first part of Durga Puja. Let us see how this first part of Durga Puja connected with the post-Vedic period. It is interesting. In the Vedic sacrifice, Agni, the fire, was the priest to mediate between man and God. So there was priest, definitely those who were performed the yajna, who has performed the sacrifice. But who will take? There must be in the worship, there must be a connection between the man and God, because we are worshipping to please God and to get the boon. That is the purpose of yajna. Putra kamo jajeta. To get my son, I have to perform yajna. Sarga kamo jajeta. To go to the heaven, they used to perform yajna. So because of the purpose, so we want to get the boon and grace of God. That is why we are performing yajna. So that is the purpose of yajna. So who will mediate? What is the connection between God and the man? Not the priest. The fire was considered the mediator, the connector between the God and the man. The oblation was offered in the fire. That fire flame, it was considered that fire flame is taking that food to the God. That was the notion at that time. So fire was the priest in Vedic period. Now we can find in modern age that priest, that fire became priest. So priest would be the mediator between the man and God. And how it will become, some authentication was required. Who will authenticate that fire will become a human being, the priest? Sri Krishna came forward. Sri Krishna in Bhagavad Gita authenticated that. He says that no matter who is the priest, if anyone, any devotee or any pure-hearted man, patram pushpam phalam toyam, one verse is there, yeme bhaktya prayachati tadoham bhaktyupahitam apnami prajatno maya. So it is said, the verse is a little bit, I have mistaken this verse. So it is said that when a pure-hearted devotee offers with devotion a leaf and flower, a fruit or water, I accept that loving offering. The God himself, Sri Krishna is the God himself, and he says that whoever offer me these things, I can accept that. So pure-hearted man, somebody who is pure. The same thing happened. Here the purification is required. So see, in the fire sacrifice post-Vedic period, the fire became priest. The fire ritual unnecessary, everyone became the priest of God, who is pure in heart. The second fundamental presupposition behind puja is that deity could be invoked in the image. So we are performing the image, and that is made of wood and soil, earth, and other materials, or stone, or whatever, some abstract material. So the point is that, means the matter, solid kind of material. So the point is that how the God and goddesses, divine power, will become in that image. That is the second part of the puja. So first part is that purification of the priest and purification of the place, everything. Second part is the invocation of the divine into the image. That is the second part of worship, any kind of worship. So how it is connected with the Vedic sacrifice? In the post-Vedic puja, a three-dimensional image or vigraha is used. This may be a shalagram shila or lingam or any anthropomorphic object, anything, pratima or whatever. In Vedic rituals only, the invitation was extended to gods. But in puja, there are invocation of the presence of the deity in the image. That the all-pervading divine power could be infused in an image is an important belief of the post-Vedic Hinduism. Such divine images are not merely aids to concentration, but also repository of power. According to Ramanuja, in the properly consecrated images, God manifests himself. So the first one was authenticated by Sri Krishna. The second one, the God is invoked in the image. That was authenticated by Ramanuja. And he says that when God manifests in the image, it is called orca. So an aura, he manifests in the image. So that was authenticated. This is the second fundamental concept. The Vedic thing became the image. The image worship led to the temple worship. The temple completely replaced the Vedic altar, the fire altar, in the Vedic period. Hinduism, those scholars have pointed out the close similarity between the temple and the sacrificial hall in the basic design. Temples have given a social dimension of the worship in Hinduism. The Hinduism did not develop a universal church. Temples have served to foster the notion that worship is not only an individual's private affair, but an act of public adoration in which every member of the community gets an opportunity to participate directly there. This is the second aspect. So, first is purification of worshipper. Sri Krishna authenticated that, and fire became priest. Secondly, invocation of divinity inside the image. Ramanuja authenticated that. And the altar, fire altar, became the temple. That is the second concept. The third philosophical concept, which distinguishes puja from Vedic yajna, is the doctrine of divinization of worshipper. In the Vedic period, popular belief was that through sacrifice, man could reach the world of gods. But gradually, this gave way to the belief the man could acquire an element of divinity in this life, and only then could become eligible for worship, and true love is the basis of that. The Vedic doctrine of Atman as the real self, which is pure, self-luminous and blissful, makes man potential divine. An important function of worship is to bring out this hidden divinity, and this is symbolically done in many ways. So the third part is the divine worshipper will take out the divinity and install it inside the image. That is the third part. So, how it can be authenticated? That the worshipper will take out the divinity from within and install it to image. And actually, as the Atman, if here Advaita comes, as the Atman is pure, self-effulgent, then every man is potentially divine, every human being is potentially divine. And because of that, symbolically, one worshipper can invoke the divinity and install it inside the image. And there are different types of rituals in the worship that the worshipper does. The fourth basic concept on which puja is based, or worship is based, on the doctrine of service and self-surrender to God. In Vedic Yajna, the main idea was sacrifice. Sacrifice means offering something. I am sacrificing this. In worship, the idea of sacrifice takes its place. Here again, the influence of Sri Krishna is clearly seen. In Bhagavad Gita, authenticated by Sri Krishna, in Bhagavad Gita, he identifies sacrifice with all life activities and advises Arjuna to do all work as worship. O son of Kunti, whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer as oblation, whatever you give in charity, whatever austerity you practice, do all that as an offering to me. In puja, service, sacrifice of the deity is done with 5, 10, that is the actual puja. Offering of different food, different things. It may be 5 items, if maybe 10 items, if maybe 16 items, if maybe innumerable items. So in that way, they offer. That is the fourth part of the puja. In this way, you can find that the great people, the incarnation, they authenticated in every step, so that the Vedic, post-Vedic sacrifice became the ritualistic worship that we can find nowadays. So the priesthood, in short, priesthood of man. So human being came priest instead of fire. Then invocation of divine presence in the image. Ramanuja authenticated that. And then divine service or worship or offering. That is the food, and especially the main significance of offering sacrifice is the sacrifice of ego. That is the main thing. It is not that the only worshipper is worshipping. Those who are participating in the worship, they all are connected with this worship. So the offering means the highest offering is the offer of ego. Instead, all these sacrifice, we find that in non-Vaishnava house, we find the slaughter of different animals. So all those animals signifies each kind of our enemies. We have 6 enemies: Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Mada, Moha, Matsarya. These are the 6 enemies. So each animal signifies one of these enemies of our personality. In the Vaishnava house, Vaishnava also can worship Mother Durga. In Vaishnava house also, they sacrifice. The animal sacrifice is not there, but instead the fruits, different kind of fruits, they sacrifice. So those also signifies the same kind of Kama, Krodha, Mada, Moha, Matsarya. And sometimes the offering is not there altogether. It is also possible without any kind of sacrifice, the puja can be performed. So this is another aspect of puja. So the third one is installation of the invocation of the divinity in the image. That also we know how it happened. And so the whole things in the post-Vedic period became like that, in this way. So post-Vedic period, Shankaracharya actually became this came. But how this Durga Puja became the social aspect, how it became the social thing, it includes everything. The first point is that this is the only worship where we can find the inclusion of everyone, God and goddesses, all kind of sect, all kind of people. This is a huge congregation. Let us see how it happens. So Durga Puja can pave successfully the social solidarity, subduing those social evils. Because of this worship, all integrated. Mother is the mother of all. The source of this universe. Hence, caste or color or race or religion, riches, all poverty, literacy or illiterate cannot be the criteria of showering her grace. We have already pointed out that the different deities accompanying Durga are but a different aspect of the same divine power. The most important point in Indian philosophy and theology is this: there are innumerable God and goddesses, but all God and goddesses are connected with one Godhead. That is the difference of pluralism. So one is called pluralism. Pluralism means there is, or polytheism. The polytheism means innumerable God and goddesses. We accept innumerable God and goddesses. Monotheism means we accept one God. So generally the Hinduism is polytheism because we have innumerable God and goddesses. But it is not totally polytheism. Polytheism means innumerable God and goddesses. That is true. But the underlying truth is this: all God and goddesses are connected with one Godhead. That is the underlying theory. Say, as for example, the highest God, we said Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, the Trimurti, these three things. But we do not segregate. They may be the God of different aspect. One is creation, one is sustenance, and one is destruction. But still, we consider that they are one. Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwar are one. So these concepts are there. So this is the difference between polytheism and the Hinduism. So Hinduism is connected with one Godhead, though there is, and Durga image is symbolically representing that thing. So see, all god and goddesses of different aspect, I am come to that. And in this way, actually, Durga is embracing the whole country of India, the whole India. I am coming to that point. Before Puja, in Durga Puja, the water of different places are required. And purification. The purification mantra, the worship, all the worship, the purification is done by sprinkling the water. That is simple. But before sprinkling the water, one should purify the water. And how the priest purifies the water? The mantra is very significant. The mantra says, Gange cha, it is Sanskrit and I can tell it afterwards I can explain it. Gange cha, Jamuna cha ivo, these are all the names of some river which is pervaded throughout India. You can understand it. Gange cha, Jamuna cha ivo, Godavari, Saraswati, Narmade, Sindhu, Kaveri, Jalesmin, Sannidham Kuru. This is the mantra. See, all names of the rivers, and these rivers are pervaded throughout India. So the water, it says, the water from all the rivers are connecting here. And the mudra, when the worshipper is performing worship, in finger they do some kind of posture, and that is called mudra. You will surprise to know the mudra of this particular mantra is like this. Means it is the fountainhead of from some source the water is coming. All the water is as it were, the water is coming from different sources through this nozzle. That is the mudra signifies. So see, ultimately the mantra says the integration of whole India, because it is coming into one place, different rivers which are in different places of India, different states of India, they pervaded. So the whole India is connected there. Not only that, see the image of Durga or Lakshmi, Saraswati, we consider, although there is a Puranic kind of idea, some folk idea is that the Durga is the mother and all her son and daughter, etc., etc. That is the local and folk idea kind of thing. But at the same time, although it is not true, but at the same time, you see the god and goddesses of different, take the example of Saraswati. Saraswati is the goddesses of knowledge. So in this way all are, but they are connected with Mother Durga. So all different god and goddesses are connected with one Godhead. Let us see, it is not only Kartik, Ganesha and all others. There are all the god and goddesses of Hindu scriptures are assembled there. If you can find the half round background of Mother Durga. That is also significant, which is called Chalachitra. So in that half round Mother Durga, you can find innumerable god and goddesses pictures are there. And at the top there is Lord Shiva. So all god and goddesses is assembled there. These aspects, though apparently contradictory, as for example, power of wealth and learning, which is Lakshmi, Saraswati, stand for respectively, have been significantly reconciled there. Even Mahishasura, who represents evil force, also has a place in her divine scheme of life. The semicircular canvas at the back of the frame, combining pictures of number of deities, also convey the same idea, the integration of all Deva and Devis. India was never sort of new ideas in realm of religion. In its history, tradition, many sects had sprung up with their own faith and beliefs. All have been assimilated in Durga Puja. Numerous deities, Vedic or Puranic or Tantric, and others are also worshipped with Durga. Kartika is popular, or Murugan. Kartika is called Murugan. Kartika is popular mainly in Tamil Nadu and Bengal. You can see in South India, there are innumerable temples of Murugan, Kartikeya. So see how it is integrated in one place. Ganesha is popular in Maharashtra, Gujarat, Odisha, Karnataka. Saraswati in Bengal and North India. And Lakshmi throughout the country. Durga Puja is not only harmonies these aforesaid deities, but also includes Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, Radha, Krishna, presented in Chalachitra or the background. So it is interesting to note how different sects and people of this land can identify themselves with Durga Puja. Durga is also worshipped in Vaishnava families, of course without animal sacrifice. Geographically also, through Durga Puja, the whole country gets united. For observing Puja, one has to collect soil from different spots like palaces, ant hill, and other places. Even you will be surprised to know the pig, the pig has horns. And sometimes they call not pig, I think they called whore or something like that. Boar, boar. So they are called boar. So the boar has, the teeth, and the mud, the soil, they dig by their teeth. That mud is required. Can you imagine? That mud is required for Durga Puja. So, different places, you will be surprised to know from where the mud is required. Who is living in the rent. So downtrodden from top, all kinds of soil is required. So in this way they united everybody. Who are living in the rental house, that rental house soil is also required. Nobody is left out. Everybody is included there. Similarly, the water is required from different sources, from well to ocean, pond to place of pilgrimage. Numerous other things, precious or trivial, are also required. It is called the Ashwamedha sacrifice in Kali Yuga for the long process of elaborate methods that involved here. In earlier days, kings and jomidars would observe Durga Puja. They used to give away land to their tenants, who would be comprised of different sections of people who contribute to the puja by physical labor and by supplying needs. The collection of different articles from far-flung corners which are used in the puja speak of the unity of the land, and different people, by virtue of their procuring those articles, indirectly participate in the puja, which implies social solidarity. Brahmins, of course, would officiate the puja. Others also had their own role. Carpenters used to make the frame of the image. Artists and designers belonged to the potter class. Barbers used to supply flowers, leaves, durva grass, etc. Drum beaters, who would be from the cobbler or etc., supplied the drums. And the skin of the drum comes from the lower class. The confectionaries and fishermen all had to take their part. Blacksmiths used to slaughter sacrificial animal during the puja hour. Sometimes even Muslims would supply sacrificial goats. During puja days, villagers would abstain from cooking, and all used to gather in the house of the landlord where the puja was performed to partake the consecrated food. It is still a wonder how a caste-ridden Hindu society could be brought together in the name of Mother Durga. We will not be doing justice to the subject if Vijaya or immersion of Durga is narrated. Actually, the 10th lunar day is called the Vijaya, when immersion of the image takes place at the end of the puja. But the Vijaya has a deep significance apart from its merely consisting religious rites. The event commemorates Sri Ramachandra's sensational victory for the mighty Ravana. I was surprised actually, Now there are thousands of YouTubes. One of the YouTubes I found, it is said that it is called Akal Bodhana, means it is the untimely worship of Mother Durga. It is said in Kirtivas Ramayana, In Valmiki Ramayana, no, there is no any mention of Durga Puja. But in Kirtivas Ramayana, there is a mention of Durga Puja. And this is called Akal Bodhana. Then he said in the YouTube, no, it was not done. The Durga Puja was not done in Akal Bodhana. But the first mantra is this: why Durga Puja is performed? The worshipper has to utter this mantra. In Brihananda Nandakishore Purana, it is clearly narrated that Ravanasya Badhaya Badarthaya Ramasya, this, because to kill the Ravana and to make the king of Rama, we are performing this Durga Puja. That is the mantra. So, that is what the event commemorates Sri Ramachandra's sensational victory over the mighty Ravana. On this very day, and it is very clearly said in Ramayana, in which day Indrajit was killed, on which day all other enemies were killed, and ultimately Ravana was killed last. On this very day, when after the fierce battle Ravana was beheaded, there was an exuberance in the worlds of both gods and mortals alike. It marked the subjugation of animal forces by divine power. Now, this has a profound significance in our personal and community life as well. The animal in us manifests in hatred, jealousy, malice, etc. against others. These are the bane of our existence. If, by the grace of Mother, we can register our victory over them, peace and harmony will prevail in society. On Vijaya Day, we take the pledge to rise above all these for good and firmly believe that by her grace, Mother's grace, one day we will succeed in our endeavor, and with such an expectation in mind, an year of jubilation sweeps all which finds expression in exchange of greetings, loving embrace, etc. The following is the account recapturing the Vijaya spirit. The spirit of Vijaya means the spirit of peace and goodwill, with the image of Durga. The Hindu is required to immerse all unkindly and uncharitable feelings. As a man is a quarrelsome being, he is enjoined to make an effort to this sacred day to forget and forgive and make peace even with the bittermost foes. Once a year, at least, let us anticipate this final transformation of humanity. The custom is to salute the elders, the bless youngsters, and to embrace whoever comes across him. The impact of Vijaya Day also drew the attention of Sister Nivedita. Illuminating is her observation. She wrote, "The great 10th day is kept as that of the reknitting of human ties." She asks, "Is not the whole of the country at one in the presence of the Mother?" In the old account, we find the boys in village are going to the community of low castes and even to Muslims to pray their respect. Actually, in the procession also, we find the dance, and that is also came from different castes. So the low caste, they used to dance in the immersion procession of Mother Durga. And there is a custom of taking siddhi. So this is some leaves. It is little bit addicted. So they take that kind of leaf juice, which is called siddhi, and they dance. They become little bit, energetic by taking that drink, and they started dancing. So why it is? Because the immersion means the immersion of Mother in our heart. So heart is considered as the water lake. So the immersion means we are immersing Mother in our heart. And when divine, we can hold divine in our heart, that's a time of joy. So with that joy, and it is called Siddhi. Siddhi means we have attained the goal. That is called Siddhi. Siddhi means successful. One becomes successful. So we attained the goal because by worshipping Mother, we immersed Mother in our heart. So that is the implication of immersion. And that is why we attained the goal, and symbolically they drink the Siddhi, that leaf juice, and they dance. If we are blessed and graced by Mother, and if we can hold divinity in our heart, then who will not dance? Everybody dance. And everybody, they find the divine person. So that is why they hug each other. After the immersion, they hug each other. So that's why they do, out of joy. That is the custom. And in this way, actually, Durga Puja actually united everybody under one umbrella. This is actually amazing. And in the image also you can find not any living being and non-living being are eliminated. You can find, starting from snake, bull, everybody is there. All the weapons are there. All kinds of human beings are there. Everybody is there. So this is a unique kind of assembling and immersed the divinity within our heart. So that is the significance and social implication of Durga Puja. Do you have any question? Yes.
How does the Chandi fit in?
Oh, okay. Chandi's place, what is the place of Chandi in Durga Puja? Yes, this is a very good question. Actually, Durga Puja is Vedic Puja and Tantric Puja also. It has the process or rituals of worshipping in two ways. Now, I can give the great example. I don't know whether you have watched Belur Math Durga Puja in the website or not. If you watched it, then probably you marked that the worshipper was not a monk. The main worshipper was brahmachari with white cloth and etc. in Durga Puja. But if you watch Kali Puja in Belur Math, you can find that monk is performing Kali Puja. Why is that? It is because in Belur Math, Durga Puja is performed according to Vedic injunctions, Vedic rituals. So I have already mentioned Brihal Nanda Kishore Purana or Brihal Nanda Kishore Upanishad, or somebody says. So Brihal Nanda Kishore Purana, that is the book Belur Math follows for performing Durga Puja. So, and it is performed according to Vedic injunctions, Vedic system. So in Vedic system, a monk cannot found fire, because the monkhood means they leave fire. They completely get rid of fire. They cannot install fire. They don't have any touch with fire. That is because after the monkhood, 3 days they do alms, they beg food from different houses, but not the raw food, the cooked food. So that is why, because they cannot touch fire. So this is the thing, they cannot install fire. This is the monastic injunction. So as Durga Puja is performed in the Vedic system, so they cannot install fire of homa for yajna. So that's why the brahmacharis, they perform these things. So this is example that Durga Puja can be performed according to Vedic system. But why Kali Puja is performed by the monk? Because Kali Puja is performed in tantric system. The monkhood, the ordination of monk is done according to Vedic system. So in Vedic system, they get rid of the fire installation. But tantric system, they not. So that is why one can perform Kali Puja by tantric system. Tantric system, they can perform homa. But in Vedic system, they cannot. Because they are ordained according to Vedic system. So that means in tantric system also Durga Puja can be performed. The system is a little bit different. The mantra is a little bit different, but it can be performed. In Kalika Purana also Durga Puja is there. 2-3 Purana you can find Durga Puja procedure. But Belunot is following the Vedic system. And Chandi, the question is this, the Chandi is the Purana, and that is the story of Mother Durga, how Mother Durga came. This is a completely different story, that why Mother Durga came and etc. etc. That this is Mother Durga killed. Here is no, the Puranic concept of this, Ashura and all these things. So like that. That is Tantric. So every school, is there. So Chandi is connected with the Tantric school. Any other question? Any question? No. Okay. Yes, Durga Puja is very, very significant thing, very extremely significant thing actually. Even the puja, the historical background, it is extremely rich. And all the puja you can find there, not only the social aspect, everywhere, throughout the world you can find the worship of Mother Durga in different form or others. Anyway. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kushchit Dukkham Apnuat Sarvastarotu Durgani Sarvo Bhadrani Pashyatu Sarva sadbuddhimapnotu, sarva sarvatra nandatu, durjana sajjano bhuyat, sajjana shantimapnuat, shantamucchete bandhebhyo, muktasyanyan vimochayet. May all be happy, may all enjoy good health, may all see happy events, may all be freed from miseries, may all be freed from dangers, may all realize what is good, may all be actuated by noble thoughts, may all rejoice everywhere. May the wicked become virtuous, may the virtuous attain tranquility, may the tranquil be free from bondages, may the freed make others free. May the Supreme Spirit, the presiding deity of all sacred activities, be satisfied, for He being pleased, the whole universe feels satisfied. Peace, peace, peace be unto you all. As usual, the announcement, we have Kali Puja. This month we have 2 pujas. We have already performed Durga Puja. So Kali Puja will be on 25th, Saturday, 25th October at San Jose at 10 p.m. From 10 p.m. to, I would say, 1 a.m. like that, after everything. And then Prasad. So 25th is Kali Puja, and then November 15th. November 15th will be our academic event, and it's a very high level academic event, and we are very happy that it was scheduled that Professor Ajoy Rao from Toronto University will come. He is working with Veda, the literary part of Veda. So he dropped actually because he has some kind of family problem. So his wife is not well, so he could not come. So instead, Professor Dipesh Chakraborty, he has a great background actually. He is a professor of Chicago University. He is coming. He came in our last program also. So perhaps you might have remembered that by the initiative of Government of India, there was in 150th birth anniversary of Swami Vivekananda, a Vivekananda chair was founded in Chicago University. Vivekananda chair in Chicago University, Government of India's initiative. And this Professor Dipesh Chakraborty was the first Vivekananda chair holder. So he agreed, he is coming. So we have an excellent speaker, Professor Ruth Harris, who wrote a book on Swami Vivekananda, a book on different angle. She wrote a book on Swami Vivekananda. She will be the keynote addresser. So she delivered the keynote address. Then Professor Robert Goldman, another great professor of UC Berkeley, who translated Valmiki Ramayana in English. So he will interact with Professor Ruth Harris. So this is first part. Then Professor Dipesh Chakraborty, we are not sure that how Professor Dipesh Chakraborty, because he is so senior and so famous, so how he will take part in the panel discussion, or separately he will deliver talk. So we are not very sure about that. We have to design the whole thing. But then the panel discussion, moderated by Obrak Luther, who is the Professor Obrak Luther, who is the Sanskrit professor of South Asian Studies he will moderate. And the panelists are Dr. Rita Sharma from GTU and Chris Chappell Professor Chris Chappell from LA, Loyola, what is the name of the college? Loyola Marymount. Yeah, Loyola Marymount College. He's coming from there. He's an Indologist, expert in Jain and Swami Vivekananda. So he will be the panelist. So very interesting and extremely, high level event is going to happen there. So I request you all. We rented a First Presbyterian Church of Berkeley. It is in the Channing. Only 4 minutes walking from here. So please, that is a 700 seats. So please inform, and free, completely free. So yes, our previous program was the ticketed program, but this is completely free program. So fearlessly you can invite your acquaintances, family and friends and everybody. So time is from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. It may extend a little bit, but it is basically 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Okay, thank you. And as usual, tea and coffee will be served, followed by prasad. You all are welcome.